You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand, and may the 4th be with you. The Wolf administration announced today that COVID-19 mitigation efforts will be lifted on Memorial Day, except for mask wearing. The current order requiring residents to wear a mask will also be lifted when 70% of people ages 18 and up are fully vaccinated. The acting Secretary of Health encourages residents to take the critical steps needed to put the pandemic behind us by getting vaccinated. However, easing the restrictions won't prevent schools and municipalities from continuing to implement stricter mitigation efforts if needed. Anyone with questions on the vaccination process can call the Department of Health hotline at 1-877-724-3258. Students at the Hazleton Area School District returned to the classrooms back on April 12th, and our Philip Kaufman sat down with Superintendent Brian Uplinger to get an update.
It's been a long journey for the Hazleton Area School District to finally have their students back in person. Now, as students are able to return back in person, we sat with Superintendent Brian Uplinger for an update on the happenings within the district.
Yeah, we started back on April 12th with all of our students, the students that wanted to return. We still allowed parents to have the opportunity to decide.
Although shortly after students came back, the district had to briefly pause the return.
We did have to take a pause after the first week and a half. We saw numbers increasing, positive cases and contact tracing. Contact tracing is incredible, and the amount of people that are affected by one person can really turn things upside down and on their heads. But that pause that we took was really warranted and necessary to make sure that everybody's coming back safely.
But that short hiatus was lifted, and now the district is back up and running.
We started back up again on the 26th of April, and right now we're sailing. We're doing really, really well, and I'm very pleased with bringing everybody back at this point. And again, like I said, that 3-day pause, a lot of people may not have liked it, but it was necessary. And again, we're moving a very large ship in taking every precaution necessary. We're not being overly precautious. We're doing what we're told by PDE, CDC, and the Department of Health. We're following all of those recommendations to a T. And again, I'm very proud of the staff and how they're moving everything forward within the district.
Finally, we touched on a subject that was a major discussion at March's school board meeting: graduation.
Yeah, there's continued discussion all the time. We're trying to figure out an exact plan on what it's going to look like, what it's going to entail. I believe Mr. Petrone will be meeting with the senior class very shortly and giving them some additional data and information. The seniors were given a survey to take on what they would like to see. Would they like it virtually? Would they like it all at one time? Would they like it split? So he'll go over the data with them and how that came out and how we're going to proceed utilizing that data. But again, we're looking at something that we're hopeful that it doesn't deteriorate. COVID doesn't come back to us, that we're able to do something in person.
Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Philip Kaufman.
Thanks, Phil. Police are investigating yet another shooting incident in the city of Wilkes-Barre. Authorities have seen a rash of shootings since last week. The most recent shooting happened in the area of 292 Cole Street, where a witness said they heard shots being fired. Police found a window of an apartment shot out along with shell casings. Police are currently reviewing video surveillance from the area in search of a suspect or suspects. Last Friday, police were called to a report of shots fired on Chester Street. Then on Saturday, a vehicle was damaged by gunfire on Metcalf Street, followed by another shooting later that day where one person sustained a gunshot wound to the leg on Scott Street. If anyone has any information on these incidents, they're being asked to contact the Wilkes-Barre Police Department. A missing person was unfortunately found deceased in Schuylkill County. State police were called to the Schuylkill County Fairgrounds Saturday and found the body of 37-year-old Brandon Marks, who was reported missing after attending a recent festival. The investigation is ongoing, as authorities are now determining the cause of death. Lehigh Valley Health Network began accepting COVID-19 walk-ins today. Everyone 16 and up can receive a Pfizer vaccine without making an appointment, but anyone under the age of 18 needs to be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian to get their vaccine. People looking to get vaccinated can visit the Hazleton, Schuylkill, Pocono, Northampton, and MacArthur Road COVID-19 vaccine clinics. LVHN will also be holding another mass vaccination drive-through event Wednesday, May 12th at Dorney Park and Wildwater Kingdom from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Those who wish to schedule an appointment can do so at mylvhn.org or by calling 833-584-6283. The City of Hazleton is mourning the loss of a longtime community leader. Wyln's Julie Stefanovich has more on the life of Dan Gajdish.
Today, our condolences go out to the family of a true pillar of the community. News broke yesterday that the membership director of the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce, Dan Gajdish, passed away. Gajdish worked at the Chamber for the past 15 years and was responsible for signing up over 1,800 members. He also directed the Mountain Council of Governments for over 3 decades. He was a teacher for 30 years and taught at both H.F. Grebe and West Hazleton Junior High and was elected mayor of West Hazleton back in 1993. He also rose to the challenges of the pandemic by helping the Chamber navigate through a virtual reality. Among his other accomplishments, he also loved the game of golf and organized many tournaments for the Chamber. Gajdish is survived by his wife Carrie and daughter Kayla. Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thank you, Julie. Coming up on Wyln News, it's sports signing season, plus more on how MMI prepared to play. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
My name is Charlie. I am 8, and the weather forecast for tomorrow will be raining.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton. You want cars? We got them. We have the largest selection of pre-owned cars in the area. We have over 160 cars on the ground. Plus, if you're looking to trade your car, if you want to get rid of the payments, it will never be worth more than it is now. Whether it is a Ram, a Chevy, a Mazda, a Dodge, a Chrysler. Guys, we will give you top dollar. Your car will never be worth more than it is right now. So don't waste your time. Get down to Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton, and see where we take those deals. The other guys won't.
'Tis the season for collegiate sports signings, and we've got the story behind one Cougar athlete's move to continue playing baseball. Hard work proves itself time and time again to pay off, and Hazleton area first baseman Ryan Verbonitz is no exception. The four-year Cougars signed to continue on to play Division II baseball at Mansfield University this afternoon and said the coach's and overall experience of being there are what helped make his decision easy.
I used to do lessons and stuff with the assistant coach, and he was the one that originally recruited me and stuff, and we just have a great relationship, and it's just something that I could see myself fitting in there for 4 years.
Verbonnets plans to pick it up in the PSAC as a Mountaineer next spring and looks forward to working with new teammates and adjusting to the speed of the game that comes with the overall collegiate atmosphere. But as many athletes know, nothing beats the overall experience of how you came to be.
Just the overall experience of it. I mean, Coach Kanzler's great. Just the kids, we're all friends. We all hang out. Just pretty much everything about it.
And his team couldn't agree more.
It is a rare thing to continue on after high school and play at the next level. A very small percentage of high school athletes get to do that. So anytime you have one of your players that has that opportunity to, go to college, get an opportunity to play a sport in college, that's something. That's why we do it, man. I mean, to see the kids get that opportunity, that's something that makes me really proud, and gives me something to do too. I get to follow these guys when they're playing in school ball.
Head coach Russ Kanzler feels that Verbonnets is ready to play at the next level. And with the way he's been swinging the bat, he knows he's going to be a success on the collegiate diamond.
The thing that I'm probably most proud of him is how he's changed his game as he's gotten older. He originally was just a right-handed hitter who was a catcher, and then he's finishing his senior year up as a switch-hitting first baseman, and that kind of speaks to his hard work and the time that he put in, in the cage in the off-season, working on his left-handed swing and getting a lot of reps over at first base, and he's been huge for us. I mean, he's batted cleanup for us the whole season and has really carried us for a big portion of the year offensively with some very, very clutch hits. So I'm definitely going to miss him when he's gone.
Wyln also wishes Ryan nothing but the best of luck as he takes his strides into becoming a Mansfield Mountaineer. The 2021 Little League World Series will be played with U.S. teams only. Monday's decision came after last year's tournament became the first cancellation in the Little League World Series' 75-year history. According to Little League officials, the events will take place in August with a limited number of spectators in attendance that's still to be determined. Staff will also be required to show proof of vaccination. The Little League International Pandemic Advisory Response Commission was formed for this year, which is tasked with making recommendations on holding the tournament and regional events. Wyln's all-time OT hero Marty Burns has the in-depth analysis of what's happening on and off season across our viewing area. MMI boys basketball and junior high baseball coach Joe Flanagan is on this week. So let's talk sports. Here's part 2.
We had talked during the summer about not only MMI but other schools in our area. At that point, was there going to be a fall season? Was there going to be football? Was there going to be other fall sports? And I know a lot of times you question, you weren't sure if there was going to be any type of fall season.
And we talked about it with football playing. I was shocked that football went on, as I know we talked, as you were too. But, football did a nice job of keeping everything in control. Everybody had a season. So it did give basketball teams hope that, hey, maybe we can do it.
And I think a lot of the concern is you're taking care of your plate, your team, but you're also hoping that the team that's going to line up against you took the same safety precautions and followed all the protocols that they had to. Because so often you hear, and I know we had Coach Atherton here, didn't play Abington Heights in the district championship because of tracing back to North Pocono having cases. So, you're following that line and you're hoping everybody's following those same protocols.
Coaching in high school sports, or any sport in general, is difficult. Now, not only are you responsible for your kids, you're responsible for other teams' kids, parents, who's doing what. It's difficult. Anybody that got into coaching last year had to say, oh my God, this is the hardest thing ever to do, because it's really difficult to do, just to manage all that, and especially the stop and go.
Right.
The stop and go was one of the hard things for especially football, basketball, or any sport to manage, because how do you train for that? How do you go for 14 days and then you're done for 10? And it's difficult.
Coming up on Nuremberg's News Choice, we're talking pedestrians and bikers on this Trooper Talk Tuesday. Plus, Leading the Way, Part 2. Stay with us.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Soul Spaceman on WYLN TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice,
everyday low prices,
plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
WYLN TV 35 is looking for part-time seasonal live sports videographers and production crew. Evening and weekend work is required. Candidates should have experience in sports production and camera operation. Please contact WYLN TV 35 at 570-459-1869 extension 1172 or email news@wyllntv.com.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on Trooper Talk Tuesday here on WYLN. I'm Philip Kaufman, and we're joined, as always, by State Trooper Anthony Petrosky. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, folks, we're talking about being on the roads. Sometimes when we're driving, we run into a situation because people are out there. Actually, we're going to be talking to both of you out there because it's going to be drivers and other individuals who are out there, pedestrians, running, biking. Everybody wants to be out exercising or just, taking a daily stroll. And when we're out there, it's proper to be safe. Sometimes the only viable path for a lot of people is going on the back roads and running around on the back roads. Well, not on the back roads, but on the sides. And sometimes we don't know what to do in those situations. So we're going to be talking about that today. So why don't we start off from the driver's point of view. If you're driving along on, a back road or anything, and you see bikers or joggers, runners, anybody who's just kind of strolling along on the side, how do you approach that situation? What should a person do in that situation?
Yeah, so we have to share the road. We have to be aware that other people are using the road. You have to allow people riding their bikes at least 4 feet when you're passing them, so you're not so close to them, you actually knock them over when you go by them. That could happen with the force of the wind going by. So you have to give them 4 feet. But there's a lot of roads that don't have like sidewalks or running or biking trails, and we have to share the road. As a licensed driver, we have to be aware that there's other entities out there on the road. And on top of that, a lot of schools are starting to get back into session now where they're going in person, so we'll throw school buses in there too. We have to be aware that these buses are going to stop, and we have to stop 10 feet behind them, and we have to wait until their lights and the stop arm is back in, because these kids are going to be excited to get home, so they're going to be running across the street. We are responsible as drivers for everybody else's safety, not just ours within the vehicle. So our eyes have to be on the road at all times. So we have to watch out for runners, bikers,
and kids getting on and off the bus. It's important, and it's an obligation as a licensed driver in the Commonwealth.
And I guess here's another one. Just kind of if you're a driver and you see ahead of you, and maybe just the car is passing a biker or something like that, because I think I see a lot of times people who think, well, I'm in the right side of my lane, why should I let them pass that person first? Why can't I just go? How do you handle that?
And again, it's all about sharing the road. So if there's a car coming in your direction and they are almost in your lane because they're passing a bike, just slow down a little bit. They're trying to do the right thing and allow that biker or runner a little bit of extra room. There might not be a lot of shoulder room with that road specific, so just slow down. We should be going the speed limit or under to begin with. We shouldn't be going over it. So all you got to do is slow down just for a little bit. And I bet you that person's going to give you a wave to say thank you. You know what? It's all about sharing the road. We don't need to be in a rush all the time. We need to be aware that there's people out there enjoying this warm weather after a tough winter we've had with all the snow, the pandemic. People want to get out, exercise, feel good about themselves, and just enjoy the weather. So let's be courteous, let's share the road, and let's be safe and make sure that everybody's safe out there.
All right, folks. And that brings us into just one other thing, which is just paying attention on the road.
Yes.
It is Distracted Driving Month, and we're talking about paying attention, not getting distracted. And one of the best ways to make sure that, you're allowing that other car to pass, or you're making sure you're watching out for that bicycle or that traveler, that runner, is that you're paying attention to the road. And
absolutely. And you know what? According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, they say that if you're going 55 miles an hour and you send a text message on your phone, you take your eyes away from the road for 5 seconds, then you would actually be traveling the length of a football field while not looking at it. So put that into perspective. You can always wait, maintain eyes on the road at all times.
All right. Folks, thank you for joining us. Be safe out there. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure that when you're out there, you're sharing the road, making sure that others can enjoy it just as much as you are. So, thank you for talking with us.
My pleasure.
And thank you, folks, for joining us here on Trooper Talk Tuesday on WYLN.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Greater Hazelton. You want cars? We got them. We have the largest selection of pre-owned cars in the area. We have over 160 cars on the ground. Plus, if you're looking to trade your car, if you want to get rid of the payments, it will never be worth more than it is now. Whether it is a Ram, a Chevy, a Mazda, a Dodge, a Chrysler. Guys, we will give you top dollar. Your car will never be worth more than it is right now. So don't waste your time. Get down to Blaze Alexander Greater Hazelton and see where we take those deals. The other guys won't.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Superintendent Brian Uplinger is leading the way in part 2 of this week's series.
And welcome back to Leading the Way. We are joined this week by Superintendent Brian Uplinger. So, when did you know that you'd want to be working in education? I know we talked about you were a lifeguard, so you decided, I want to work with kids, I want to teach them. How did you pursue that interest? And I guess after you kind of pursued that, where did that career, what happened between, becoming a teacher, deciding to become a teacher, to now superintendent?
Right, and that's been a whirlwind. And I have 25 years in education right now, but it just seems like yesterday that I started. Started the process with my college career at Penn State. Got into some education courses and student teaching and things of that nature. And like, yeah, this is me. This is what I really want to do. Elementary. I was am elementary certified, and when I was doing student teaching and going through all of the processes that you go through, it's like I really don't want to go any higher than elementary. I ended up becoming a high school principal and coached a high school swimming and diving team. So it was like, okay, I can still do this. This is going really well. I got my bachelor's from Penn State University. I got my master's in curriculum and instruction from Lock Haven University, superintendent letter, principal certification, all of that from Edinburgh University. And now I'm working on my doctorate through Wilkes.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm very, very close to getting that completed. And thankfully that, that was a very long process and very tedious. But that's kind of, the quick road to where I'm at right now.
And the position of superintendent, when did that become, where was that option available and you were like, you know what, yes?
Yeah, that, when I was a principal. When I became a principal of a junior senior high school, I thought, okay, there's one more step, one more rung that I could aspire to get. And during that time, I had a very good mentor, superintendent that I worked with in that district. And he said to me when I started, he said, well, why do you want to become a superintendent? I said, I just want to become just like you. And he starts giggling. He said, no, you're crazy. You don't want to do this. But no, I finished the letter of eligibility and then moved into a superintendent position.
All right, folks. Check back tomorrow for part 3 as Brian continues leading the way. Have a good night.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com, where you can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.